She Is Serious, a podcast where we showcase female athletes and their impact beyond the game. Each week, we will be bringing on influential women in the world of sports and showing why they are so much more than athletes. My name is Taylor Hall. I'm a health and fitness influencer and collegiate athlete at Biola University. And this is my sis, my co-host, Ashley White. What's up, girl?
Hey y'all, hey, my name is Ashley White, a former student athlete manager for UNCW's women's basketball, a blogger, writer for Beautiful Ballers, and an advocate for women in sports. Thank you for tuning in weekly to She Is Serious podcast. And this is why female athletes are now to be taken seriously. Hey sis.
Hey, SISta, what is happening? Today we got a special episode for you. Tay and Ash, the OGs, baby. We wanted to come on and tell you guys how SIS got started because we are getting a ton of questions about like how we met each other and why is it called SIS? You know, She Is Serious. So let's get right into it, Ash.
Yeah.
Tell the story. Tell them how it happened.
So folks know that a lot of people may know that I am the blogger and writer for Beautiful Ballers. So of course I saw Taylor got featured on Beautiful Ballers page. Shout out to them. And I reached out because I wanted to do different stories. I always, ask different athletes if, I could do an article on them for the blog, official blog. So of course Taylor said, yeah, heck yeah. So
I said heck yeah.
Yeah, so we just text and of course just communicated and I wanted to do another thing. I wanted to do a book where it talks about female athletes and mental health, because those are two correlations I believe have like corresponded and it's been kind of talked about a lot, and it needs to be spread awareness. So told Taylor and asked Taylor what she thought about it, and she was awesome with this. She was like down for that. And then
Yes.
she's like, you know what? Why not we do a podcast? And for me, I listen to podcasts, but I never would expect to like have a podcast. Like,
yeah, because here's my thing. Like, I like to be in front of the camera, and Ash, you like to be the writer, like behind the book. So I felt like it was like a perfect compliment because I said, hey, let's get in front of the camera. And then you were like, let's write a book. So it's like the perfect thing because we have the camera and then we have the voices, and then you're going to be able to write a book out of this.
yeah, because everybody has a story and everyone has a voice. And when your voice is heard, it turns into a story. So that's how majority, and of course, we were trying to figure out a good, brand, a good like caption or a good title of our podcast. So wrote things down, like just ideas. So we're like,
We were on the phone for like what? Like almost 2 hours. I feel like we've never met each other in person, by the way. We've only met each other over social media and like now Zoom and phone calls, which is crazy. So shout out to like social media because there's no way me and Ash would have ever met. She lives in North Carolina. I live in California, so it's like opposite sides of the country.
oh yeah, and of course the measurement and like the conversion of the time zone. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like bet, like, but it works. It works perfectly. So hopefully we get to record in California. Hopefully one day we're like aiming for that. I know I'm aiming
Yeah.
for that.
If
And then
any people are listening and they're from LA or they're from the West Coast, please, we need to get Ash to move out here because literally LA is where it's at. I'm just telling you, Cali's the best.
I mean, I'm from California. That's the thing. I'm originally from
Oh, that's
San
right.
Diego. I'm originally from San Diego,
That's
but
right.
like, but this is what happens when you stay in North Carolina. You pick up an accent. So of course I get told, "Where are you from?" Okay, you got an accent. Like, yeah, yeah, this is what
That's
happened.
so funny. I wonder what would happen if I lived in Texas for long enough. Would I start talking like with an
Oh my
accent?
gosh, I think so. Like, it's crazy in Texas
That's
already,
crazy. No,
but
literally. But yeah, so basically we were coming up with names. So we were thinking about how to spread stories of female athletes and why they make an impact beyond the court, beyond the field, because for me, I've been an athlete my entire life and I was kind of in the transition of this is my senior year of basketball. Like, what am I going to do after sport? I've found out that I am just so much more than an athlete. Like, basketball doesn't define me anymore. This last year was really, really eye opening for me in that aspect. And so we were both thinking of names, and I'm like an acronym person. So I'm like, hmm, Tay, train as you. Like that's my personal brand. I want it to be TAY, train as you. And we just kept throwing out things. And then Ash said, "Hey, sis." I was like, "Oh, that's a cute little tagline. Hey, sis. Like, what if we say SIS, like she is serious? This is why she is serious about being taken seriously beyond sports." Boom. Then we have our brand name, we have our brand image, the mission, literally like all in one. That's how the name came about, basically. And we've been having so many amazing guests so far. I think we just dropped our, 13th episode this last week.
Yes, 13. Lucky number 13. Hello.
Is that
And
crazy? Like, that's more than 3 months.
we've been here for 3 months now, and it's almost 3 months. It'll be 3 months on the 14th because we started on Valentine's Day. So, also, first off, before we even continue, congratulations to Taylor for graduating college.
Thank you. It has just hit me like yesterday because I graduated on Friday, but I feel like I don't know, change is scary, you know?
Oh yeah, it is. And it's inevitable to be honest. So it's not easy to adapt change, but I mean it's like time. Change and time are the exact same thing almost. They inevitable, like just it happens. So
No, it's so true. And like I already have gone through so much change this year. I feel like basketball ending, I'm like I've spent my whole life playing this sport and all of a sudden I'm not going to practices every day. I'm not in the gym all the time. Like I can say all that I want that basketball doesn't define me, but I really felt like honestly when I stopped playing basketball, I was like, okay, it really did define me because I don't know who I am right now. I can't say that I'm a college athlete. Like I'm a NARP. I was telling Ash, I was like, I'm a non-athletic regular person. I don't know what to do. It's just crazy. But thank goodness I have a job now where I'm able to be in the gym. It's a different kind of gym. It's like a workout gym, but I'm able to be in the gym for like all day, which is great. So that transition was definitely hard, and I feel like I'm just getting over not being a college athlete. And then all of a sudden, boom, I graduated from college, and now I'm just like, wait, I'm going to real life. I'm not going to have my same routine. And I like to stick to my routine. So like now I don't have school. I just have to basically, I'm studying for my personal trainer certification and then content creation, then being a trainer, and then doing this podcast. So it's like all of this fun, exciting things, but scary at the same time.
oh my gosh, yes, girl. I remember that type of transition when I graduated, and especially I think it hit reality for me when I had my last home game as a student athlete, head manager for the women's basketball. I was crying. And then my last, managing the way game, I was crying. It was like, oh my gosh, reality hits. And then especially had I graduated, it's like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So, but
But
Miss
look at us
Taylor,
now. Look at us now. Like, we got it and everything's in God's hands. So if we're
oh yeah,
faithful, everything will happen for a reason and it'll all fall into place. So, and
I
I'm
know.
just so thankful for this connection and for this podcast because this is like such a huge sense of purpose. Like, I always am excited to record, meet these new people, listen to their stories, show why we are so serious about changing the game, being taken seriously off the court. And, we saw that in the NCAA tournament not that long ago, too. Like,
Girl, yes.
it's crazy. The women's game, like all women's sports are changing for the better. And it's like a slow and steady rise to the top, but it's been really cool to see.
Girl, yes. As like one of the best people, Kelsey Trainer says, when you invest in women, great things happen. invest in women, hire women, pay women, you
Yeah,
know.
period.
So, how would you say who inspired you when it comes to the sports world? And how do you feel like that inspiration has placed a part in doing this podcast?
So in the sports world, my like biggest inspiration of all time, it's not a female athlete, it's Steph Curry. He was like the person when I started playing basketball. It was like 2015. The Warriors were on top of the world, winning all these championships. And Steph Curry is who I really tried to model my game off of. And not only did I like his game, but I loved his demeanor. I loved his life. I loved his motto. I loved his hard work, his dedication. All of that I really, really looked up to from the very beginning of my career. So he was someone that I wanted to be like a lot. And on top of that, what was really cool for me to see is he is a girl dad. He's also such a loving husband to his wife, a big supporter of Aisha and everything that she does as an entrepreneur as well. So just like having that person to look up to and seeing the whole, family aspect that he brings into basketball, everything in his life off the court too. Um, that, is kind of like my biggest inspiration. And I want to be like Steph Curry, but the female version, just like bringing light to this world of women in sports. Cause I think Steph Curry, what he did was he changed the game of basketball forever. He brought so much joy and so much fun to the game that hasn't been seen in a long time, right? He was the one that just started shooting 30 footers and making it look easy and bringing so much more joy to the sport of basketball than had been in a long time. So that's my inspiration, but on the female sides of sports and also as being a trainer, I want to be someone that can inspire female athletes to have fun after their sport and to enjoy their life and live the healthiest versions of themselves, just in everyday life and off the court and to find their purpose. So I think that's really what both of us are here doing, Ash. We're helping spread awareness of these girls that are doing amazing things all around.
Yes. And correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Steph Curry, like, he's one of the biggest advocates for women's sports. I mean,
Huge.
he has two daughters and a son, so but he loves his wife. Like, the fact that his wife has her own like baking show and books, like, he like supports her to the fullest.
Yes. And he's literally, like you said, such a huge advocate for women's sports. Like, I think he was one of the first people to be like, hey, and game recognizes game. So these girls that are out here, I think, was it Paige Becker's at one of his camps is like the SC top 30 a few years back when she was in high school.
Yes, she
And
was. Her and Azzy Food or Fudd, both of
yeah,
them.
yeah. So both of them, obviously, they're huge now at UConn. They're killing it. But I mean, he brought them to his camp and kind of showcased them, which was really awesome. When there's a lot of male athletes there, I think it was mostly male dominated, and then there's a couple girls, a couple of the top girls in the nation. So, I mean, just that alone, like he's a huge advocate for female athletes, and then just he's an inspiration for so many people because, like I said, he's changed the game in so many ways. So that's who I would say my inspiration in sports is. Steph Curry for sure. Always modeled my game after him. I mean, I tried to be like him, Ash. I tried to do every single move, every single drill. Like he would do this like sick finish where he would finger roll the ball like 30 feet in the air, you know what I mean? And it would just come down and just boom, like, oh, and then he's just amazing. So much finesse to the game. I love it. But who is your inspiration in sports?
Did you try to do the tunnel shot too that he does?
Oh goodness, no. I cannot shoot that far.
I mean, it's you can always try, but like, oh well, we tried, but still. Um,
Yeah.
for your question, for me, I would say sports world. I'm gonna say I have three, but I'm gonna just break it down to one. Um, Maya Moore. I loved her since UConn. She was huge. Like she's amazing. She has like the best winning record percentage from high school to the professionals, including the Olympics. The best, one of the best winning percentage in records. Like, um, at she was at her peak when she left the game. Like she was dominating with, she won MVP. She was rookie of the year, number one, selected number one in the draft, um multiple time all-star, and she was a four-time NBA champion, one of the first women to sign and have a to sign to Jordan and have her own shoe.
Yes.
And like, and the fact that what I love admire her the most about when she was at her peak, um she went back and did stuff that was more powerful than, the sport. She she's big in social justice. I'm big in social justice, especially like when I was doing criminal justice at grad school for a little bit. She actually helped, who is her husband now, help the guy get his record expunged and, prove that he was innocent and just help free an innocent man. And then they became husband and wife.
How
And
crazy.
yeah, so it's like, and she's really big in her faith. She's really big in her faith. And I really admire about that. So I feel like I like kind of overstated a lot about her, but I feel like she is the epitome of what it means to use your platform in sports, both on and off the court.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, um, how would you say how would you say this podcast has changed for us?
Well, I think that, I mean, this is life changing for me for sure. Just being able to connect with girls that would never be able to connect with outside of this podcast is super cool. Female athletes are so amazing, and it's just really interesting to hear stories of different girls that I can relate with so much just because we've gone through a lot of the same situations. And it's like, I'm not alone. Us girls are just not alone in this world because the feelings that I felt like, oh my gosh, the world is crashing down. Like, I suck at basketball. I can't do anything else. Like, my whole identity is wrapped up in this sport. My well being is on the line because I'm at practices all the time. I like am not enjoying this. This is just, when you don't get the reward out of all the work that you put in throughout your whole life, it's just so frustrating. But, there's been so many girls that have come on and can relate to me in so many ways. And that alone has just been really, really life changing for me. Um, and also, Ash, just getting to be a part of, I think, something bigger, than ourselves is really cool. So, this whole journey has been amazing. And we've had some awesome speakers on here that have given us insight on how they're successful in the business world. Like, we just had Kelsey
Oh my
Nicole.
gosh, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like shout out to all of them.
Yeah.
Like all of them. Like
And they're
yeah.
so willing, it's so cool because this is like, we're pretty new, right? I mean, we're only 3 months old, which is even crazy that it's been 3 months already. But some huge names like have been like, oh yeah, of course I'll just jump on this podcast. This is awesome what you guys are doing. They really believe in this mission and this vision that we have for She Is Serious. And that alone is just so encouraging because I'm like, yeah, we do have something going on here. We really have this mission that we want to build a huge community of women and female athletes, and not just athletes but anyone who wants to join in and who wants to create like a bigger community of empowered women. It's really cool that people are so willing to join us.
Yes, especially like we had so many women. We even had a person, we had a male that that's a huge advocate for women in sports, which was totally new, but it was definitely needed, especially from a male's perspective. But still, like hearing each and every person's story, it brought like therapeutic to them. Like,
Yes, that's a great word. That's a great way to describe it, like therapeutic.
yeah, so like, it's just seeing them like be able to be expressive and tell their stories. Like I'm just in awe of all of them because, you know, you end up forming relationships with them or friendships with them, and just like it's just amazing how each and every one have played, each and every guest has played a part in this podcast, this amazing podcast. One of the main reasons why we continue to do this podcast, because it's, guests like them, like women, and even the trainer who happens to be your trainer that came, who's the advocate for women in sports. The main reasons why it's our, like, the one of the big main reasons why we continue to do something for, hopefully. And I'm not saying hopefully, I know we will be the biggest podcast when it comes to women in sports, the biggest podcast in sports. Like, you know I believe in this podcast, I believe in this brand, I believe in us, that
Me too.
we are going to define what it means to be like what we can be. And like, we're still always going to be women in sports even after our career, like after our collegiate career, we're always going to be in the sports world.
Yeah, and just, knowing that we have the support and there's so many women that have the support of other women, so many males that are supporting women in sports. Shout out to Elijah who just came on last week. Um, Believing in this vision that we have for the world of female athletes is awesome. So it continues to grow. We continue to be inspired by these other girls. It's been an awesome journey. I mean, we started off with no mics, Ash. Now we
Yes,
have
oh my
mics.
God. With so
Sound
many
is so much
feedback.
better.
Yes, with so much feedback, it's like, what's that noise? But then, we were like, we look fabulous with these mics. Hello. And
Hello.
um, but yeah, and I feel like, I would say, and I think I always explain how I feel like we are the podcast that stands out the most, because, I mean, we're totally opposite from one another. Like, but we
Opposites
collaborate.
attract.
Yes, like, you're an athlete and now a trainer, and I was a student manager, but I understood what an athlete is and how athletes work, and we just be making history, her story, actually, not just history, but her story.
And I think
So
that's the whole goal, is to share stories, because most athletes are never asked these questions that we ask, right? Like, what is your sports story? Most girls, I mean, most people in general don't get asked that, what their sports story is. It's just like, all right, we go through our sports, we grind it out, we tough it out, and this is us. Unless you are LeBron James or Michael Jordan or all these great athletes, that tell their stories all the time, us smaller athletes, like I went to Biola University. Most people don't know where that is. It's Southern California, by the way, LA baby. Um, but I would have never gone asked my sports story if it wasn't for Ash. So it's like, I mean, a couple other people have asked me, but it's cool to put this on a bigger platform, and I know that this will grow and will become a huge space where everyone will be able to tell their stories, and that they can go back and look on these episodes forever and show their families, show their friends, their kids, everybody, like, hey, this is what I went through in college. Like, here's some other girls that went through similar things. This is how I'm making an impact. We're not just talking about it. Also, we are talking to women who are doing action, like making change, going out into the world, stepping foot first, and being advocates for women, showing how their business can grow and expand because of the platform and the experiences that they had through sports. So, right, sports don't define us, but they do shape who we are. So, like, for me, I know that basketball doesn't define me anymore, but it really has shaped who I am as a person now and as a trainer. So I really want to bring everything that I learned through basketball into my training. And I want to make sure that I'm uplifting and encouraging while also pushing my clients and showing them, how I was able to become a better athlete physically, mentally, and emotionally, because it's all three aspects. It's not just physical, it's everything. And I think, like, Ash, what you're doing off the court too, like, you were in sports throughout your entire life, and now you're a writer and a blogger using your amazing this girl has so many good like little nuggets if you guys listen in. Like she has so many, like you can tell she's a writer. And then also she does graphic design, which is freaking amazing. Like I wish I had my little poster here right now, but the us two alone, like we are trying to step, or we are entrepreneurs that are talking to other entrepreneurs, and it's just like this really cool thing that's happening. So sorry that was a little ramble there, but I just am like excited for where this is going to take us in the future. Ash.
Girl, you ain't got to be sorry. Never minimize your success, girl. Never minimize your success. You better give yourself some flowers. Give yourself flowers and never minimize your success. Because, baby, hello, we did it. You did it. You did something that was amazing. That was amazing. Now, a lot of people can say that you graduated from college. That's an amazing accomplishment. And then you are a personal trainer, you are doing health, and you are a health and fitness influencer. Girl, you better give yourself flowers and never minimize your success. Also, I believe also, and I wrote this on a note card. It was crazy because I put it on a tweet and then I found that tweet and I put it on a note card that, we will be, I believe this podcast, we will have this podcast, we will attend the WNBA draft or games, and then hopefully talk to the athletes, and then, you know, be part of the ESPNW summit that just happened not too long ago, where not only attend it but speak at it, be like one of those panels and speak with even be along with all the other, like, you know, analysts and sports casters and other people that have made an impact in sports. So I just be, just writing down the, like, just
Yeah. And I think that's like the best. Set your goals high, because no goal is ever too high to reach for, you know? Like set them, work hard to achieve them. Nothing is impossible without hard work. And also, what's the worst thing that could happen? You fail, everyone fails, right? Like we fail, we get back up again, and we keep trying, we keep reaching our goals. That's what life is all about, and it's fun. Like as long as we're having fun while we're doing this, I think that's all that matters. And I am excited that females are coming on here and telling their stories. Like I think it's really cool to see that women are stepping up to the plate, and they're like, no, we're no longer letting others tell us what to do. Like we are determining our own future and our own destiny. And like it's totally being seen. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to expand, and honestly just keep setting our goals higher. And to everybody that's listening out there, we really, really, really appreciate all of you guys. Like, you do not know how much it means for you to listen into our podcast each week, and for these other girls to share their story and you to listen to their stories. We've had so many amazing, amazing people come on, and we appreciate everyone's support. And so if you know anybody that is interested and wants to share their sports story or their story beyond the court, beyond the field, whatever that may be, please let us know. And we are so willing to speak to anybody who has a story to tell, because everyone has a story.
yes, because our DMs are open to suggestions. Even if you are a female athlete, let us know, because, just you have a voice, you have a story that needs to be heard, that can inspire many people and just bring light to why we matter, why um we are just serious. Think outside of the box. Turn that no into on, just like Kelsey Nicole Nelson said. Turn that no into on, like keep on, like turn it on. So
I think that's
yes,
one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard.
yes, because you turn that negative into a positive. Just be optimistic. You know, go in rooms and make a name for themselves, make a name for ourselves, like make noise, shatter
If
the
you want,
glass.
yeah, if you want to make your own brand, make your own brand. Like you can do it, girls. If you want to be a broadcaster, do it. If you want to be an influencer, do it. If you want to be a cook, do it. If you want, like, anything that you want to do, that you want to be, you can literally do it. The world is a wide open space. We have so much life to live. And I'm really excited that we're doing this, sis. Ash, you're amazing. Eventually we're gonna have, we start out with no mics. Eventually we're gonna have some studio lighting. Eventually we'll get some better cameras, and then, hopefully in the future we'll be in-person podcast babies. So it's all a journey, it's all a process, but basically, thanks for listening. This is why we're serious. This is how She Is Serious was created, and me and Ash, we are your hosts. We are here every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. This is why.
This is why we women in sports need to be taken 1, 2, 3
Seriously.
Peace.
Peace.